Hey everyone, Joe here from buildassetsonline.com here with my brother Michael. Today we're going to be talking about our plans for dropshipping in 2020, and we're going to tie this into other stuff in our business, our online business portfolio as well as some other kind of business ventures that we have our minds on. Don't forget we just launched a free new Discord community. We're going to be having you know more stuff coming with that, but I'll leave the link in the description. If you want to hang out with like-minded people who are also building assets online, just join the server, start chatting. We'll drop in from time to time so you can connect with us as well. So yeah, but let's talk about, this is going to kind of be more of a candid conversation between Mike and I as we get into the new year. Kind of want to talk about what we're going to do with the drop shipping part of our portfolio and how it's going to tie into some of the other stuff that we're working on. So Mike, I'm really thinking that in 2020, and I think you agree as well because we've had a couple different conversations about this. When we started doing high ticket drop shipping, we did what we recommend most beginners to do, which is to go hard and go wide and just really attack it as much as possible. Get as many suppliers, do as much as you can. Even launch as many stores. That advice could be kind of debatable, but the point is, get as many suppliers as you can, as quick as you can, and just go from there. And so that's kind of that's kind of been our plan, and that's kind of been what we've done. We've sold 2 stores up until this point, and I think the name of the game going forward is going to be to simplify and focus more on one or two stores. Using SEO, still always improving our Google Ads campaigns, and just really dominating the markets that we're in. We might even sell another store, just so we have one or two to focus on. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think the phase one that you pointed out of kind of going and just hitting the pavement, getting a lot of suppliers, and just being in the trenches and seeing what works, that's still going to be the phase one if you're at that level in 2020. I don't think things are going to change to where you have to revamp the whole way you do niche research and the way you contact suppliers. Like, selling physical products is actually a lot more stable than I think people make it out to be, because you think about these brands that are bringing in products that are like thousands of dollars. They've been around for decades, and so they're not changing up the way that they're doing things. And so when those are the brands that we're interested in, so their processes are most likely going to stay the same. But for us, since we've been at this like 3 or 4 years now, probably it'll be 4 years this year. We're not in phase one anymore. So for us, we are going to be focusing on more so domination.
Yeah,
So
no, what were you saying? Sorry.
whether that's through SEO or that's through supplier exclusivity, those are really the main two. So for us, that makes the most sense time wise, because to go out and test new suppliers when we're already busy enough. We already have, over a dozen employees. So like, we don't need to expand anymore, even though we already have another site in the works, which is a whole other thing. Expansion is not our focus at this point. Our focus is on just amplifying what works and, audience building.
Yeah, well, actually, it's kind of funny that you mentioned we have another site in the works. We actually kind of have 2 sites in the in the works, even though we said we're going to be scaling down. Because
That's scaling down for us.
that scaling down is we're only going to be doing 2 new sites this year, hopefully. And that are high ticket drop shipping related. Yeah, but
Yeah, you're right. It is too.
yeah, these have been in the works for a few months now at least, and it's kind of just tying up loose ends. A couple things we got to do, but we have the infrastructure in place to get all the products added. All the day to day. What's the word? Oh man, I want to like, what's the word? Like, I'm trying. I don't want to say like a bad word, but I'm trying to think of the word. Oh, okay. Yeah, so all the tedious stuff, we have the infrastructure to get that out of the way.
And so I would say if you're past phase one and you've already gotten several suppliers for you say you have a store or you have two stores at this point, 2020 for you should be about infrastructure. Because
Yes.
there's only so much that you can do as one person. There's only so many suppliers you can call, and then you have to upload those products, and then you have to run ads to those products. So, yeah, if you're past phase one, phase two is infrastructure.
Yeah, I think infrastructure really for any online business is the absolute most important thing. And if you were just a single person, and I remember being just a single individual, like wanting to, by myself. Well, I'll give you guys an example. When we first started Kindle publishing, uh, we were publishing and
Oh God.
republishing books on a regular basis.
Reading the books, editing them.
Reading the books, editing them, publishing them, republishing them. It was a whole process that we both individually did it all ourselves. And when you're an individual like that, and you're starting out, it seems like it's the only way. And it's really really hard to get past that first hump where you contract out or hire out your first person. But really, infrastructure is absolutely everything, because the truth is that making it's so easy to make $1 online. Like, it's so easy to make $100 a month or $500 a month. And I'm not, if you haven't done that yet, I'm not trying to sound like condescending or anything like that. But if once you do it, you'll realize like what I'm saying. Like, it is easy. But to go from that to 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 a month, it's really hard to do by yourself in most businesses. You need a team of people doing those tedious tasks for you. And I've, like, a lot of the stuff that I did when I was like a single person doing stuff, like I can't even get out of bed to do that stuff today.
Oh yeah. Um, we're so much lazier now, which is, I guess, a good thing. And that's how we can be making two stores and be like, yeah, we're kind of scaling back. Because I think for us this year and maybe even the year before, we spent a lot of time getting familiar with setting up different business systems and hiring and stuff like that. Like, it's kind of, I'd say, hit its stride this year, maybe within the last 6 months even. So there's definitely some stuff we have to do to build those two stores. Like, it's not going to be completely passive, but it will be a lot easier than it may sound to someone who isn't at that level. That we can just, like, two stores for us is light.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, as far as the tactics, I don't even think we really have too much to say on that, because we're not really going to be, all the tactics we talk about are in our course. We talk about them on this YouTube channel. The Google ads, the SEO, the YouTube ads, we're just adding, I'm trying to finalize adding that stuff to the course today or tomorrow. Kind of got all the videos made, but either way, we're not really changing much about the tactics at all. The tactics online, they might change all from time. Like, the tactics do change, but the infrastructure is far more important than the tactics. Is what I'm trying to say. Because even if the tactics shift, you want the infrastructure in place to go out and test the new tactics and the new strategies and what might be working in terms of capitalizing on an algorithm, whether it be a search engine, a social media algorithm. The more infrastructure in place you have, the more accelerated a rate you can test that stuff. So we're not going to really be changing any of that stuff, really.
And then, so that was phase two, infrastructure. And then phase three is, I think, where we're at is just dominating where you're currently at with SEO and even like YouTube ads and supplier exclusivity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Why don't we talk a little bit about how we're going to be, how we're thinking about reinvesting some of our money and time that we get from dropshipping, because that's kind of our whole thing that we talk about. Is it's the fastest way to build up to a legitimate income online is to do high ticket drop shipping. But we do recommend reinvesting that into other business models. So let's talk a little about what we're going to be doing with that. What are we going to be doing, Mike?
So as usual, we funnel, a portion of what we make into Kindle publishing. Not that Kindle publishing doesn't fund itself at this point, but it is definitely important that we continue growing the Kindle side of the business, which is really on autopilot. So we'll be doing that. We'll be growing the content sites to, I'm not sure what our Q4 numbers were for the content sites, but we definitely want to make them bigger than they were this year.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely once maybe like a week or two into January, we'll put out like an income report, like for this month or something. Kind of, take note of everything. But yeah,
and I think we'll be getting into some real estate hopefully.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think real estate is kind of like the final phase of this online stuff. I mean, it's kind of two different things. Obviously, I mean they both could be considered assets, but I think online is a great place to make your money quickly and relatively risk free because because of all the good reasons that we talk about. But it's hard to know what online business is going to look like in 10 years. So I think that's why, once you are in the phase that we're in now, we're starting to think about pivoting into stuff like real estate, which has historically, has more of a historical record than online business, if you get what I'm saying.
yeah, and so I mean, online websites, that's just one sort of class of assets. And so while I think right now it's like the fact that you can buy a website for like 2x its yearly profit is like it's really good. That means it means it's in the infant stage
Yeah.
because it's very undervalued. So when you're starting out, yeah, like if you spend $30,000, you could have a site that's making you $1,000 a month or more, just like that. $30,000 in real estate is not going to get you much.
Right.
So it's just different. So now like we really set things up to where 5 years down the line, even 10 years down the line, we'll be in a pretty good position because of all the assets that we have, bringing us good cash flow. But it's actually, so at this point, we need to sort of allocate more of the stash that we have to like long-term sort of things.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's not that I'm like down on online business or anything. Quite the opposite. I mean, I still think at the core of it, the internet is still a new and a great vehicle, probably the best vehicle possible, to start, to quit your job or just start making a substantial side income. I think the internet is still by far the easiest and best vehicle with the least risk. But it's good to diversify and to really start thinking about once you get to a certain point, start thinking about the long term. And last time we went to the accountant, I believe my wife asked the accountant. He's like, so who are your like wealthiest clients? Like what do they do? Like and I actually had no idea what he was going to say, to be honest with you. And he said real estate. Like he has like clients.
Like all.
Yeah, all of them. He has clients with billions of dollars of net worth, all real estate. And it comes down to, I think a lot of it comes down to the tax benefits and, all the other side stuff associated with real estate. I mean, no matter, no matter what your worldview is, I think the fact of the matter is that the way the tax systems and the economies are structured is very biased towards real estate investors. And, not to say that that's a bad thing or a good thing, but it's something that, you can leverage yourself because anyone could be a real estate investor.
Yeah. I mean, 2020 online business is still probably the fastest way to make money and build an asset for sure. But it's at the point where we don't really need any more money from online business, like past what we're currently doing. The cash flow that we have coming in is enough. So it's about securing what we have and making sure that's there in the future and increased.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think it comes down to once you're at a certain point with your online business, I think you got to think about what it's going to take to take those next steps. And for some, depending on your goals in life, I mean, it's some people, like the people that started Wayfair, they obviously had it in their. I think they're still involved in the company, right?
I don't know.
Well, I think they are, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I think they might have had, they might have had it in their long-term vision, or they may put it in there that they wanted to be a publicly traded company and they wanted to take Wayfair to the top. So it's important to really think about what your personal goals are and kind of prioritize them with your online business and investment goals, period. Because personally, I wouldn't want to like create a Wayfair. Like I think that would kind of not.
You're just creating a job.
Yeah, you're just creating a job for yourself. So even though you created a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company, it's still, you still have all the stress of that corporate life. You're at the top of the corporate food chain now. Now you're the CEO, and
Still got a job. Yeah.
yeah. And you know what? We've met a few CEOs in our. I mean, I've worked for CEOs. I've met a few CEOs. Just through different things that I've had, and I gotta. They're not always the most stress-free people. They're not always the happiest and they're not always living the life, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, you may not have anyone above you, but now your bosses, the shareholders, and there's people that can vote you out of a job, and like, it's ridiculous. Is that what you want? Is that why you're doing this? I'd say most people listening to this, the answer is no. So, you need to make your goals strictly in line with what you want your life to be in 5 years, 10 years, 30 years.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I know for me, I always want to work less. I think that's the ultimate goal, is to always work less. But if you are working less, have the ability to, you're not getting less work done because you always got stuff going on that either through automated systems or through outsourcing where, you're getting more stuff done, but you're working less and it's always profitable. I think that's the key. And stress management. I think people take stress management for granted because a lot of people are stressed out. I mean, I'm not one of them. Thankfully, yeah. I'm thankful every day. But a lot of people are stressed out, and it's not good.
Yes, I mean, your goal should most likely be to build the ship and have the ship steer itself, not to build a multi-level yacht and then be forced to still navigate it or
still be building it in you're working on your yacht and you haven't even left the ocean or whatever. I don't know.
Left the port.
Yeah, you haven't left the port yet.
Yeah, I think that wraps it up. To recap, phase 1, if you are just getting started with high-ticket dropshipping, you need to be taking massive action, calling suppliers, just running ads, really be in the trenches, building your business as fast as possible. The methods are not going to change going into 2020, but people are always going to be nipping at your heels. There's always going to be increased competition, so you need to take action. Once you've done that, phase 2 would be to set up infrastructure through hiring. Whether you find joy in that process or not, you need to do that. You need to start developing your infrastructure so you're not doing the remedial day-to-day grunt work. And then phase 3 would be to just dominate what's already working. And then from there, you can do whatever else you want.
By the way, you used the word I didn't want to use. I didn't want to say grunt work.
Grunt?
I thought it's kind of demeaning. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's all it's all good. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. If don't forget about our Discord channel. I'll leave a link in the description, our free one, and some great stuff coming soon. And that's it. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll see you in the next one.
Take it easy.